When did bros before hoes stop being a joke in your relationship? My boyfriend used to laugh when he said it, like it was some ironic callback to middle school humor we both understood wasn't real. Then his best friend got engaged, and suddenly I wasn't invited to any wedding planning hangouts because the guys need to handle this themselves. Like choosing between charcoal and slate gray vests required some secret masculine counsel I couldn't possibly comprehend. I watched him spend 3 consecutive Saturdays helping pick out tuxedos and debating boutonniere options, while our apartment flooded from a burst pipe I discovered when I got home from work. Water was seeping through the kitchen ceiling, spreading across the floor, and ruining the baseboards we'd just painted. I called him panicking and he texted back, "Almost done, babe. Jake really needs help with this decision." I spent 2 hours on the phone with emergency maintenance and our landlord while he was presumably very focused on pocket square selections. He got home 5 hours later, looked at the damage, and said, "Well, you handled it," like I'd chosen to have a plumbing crisis for fun. The bachelor party was scheduled for my birthday weekend. When I gently asked if he could maybe skip just the first night to celebrate with me, he stared at me like I'd asked him to set his friend on fire and film it. "You're literally trying to ruin his wedding," he said about my birthday dinner reservation I'd made 2 months in advance at the restaurant where we had our first date. I spent my 27th birthday alone eating grocery store sheet cake with plastic forks while his Instagram stories showed him shotgunning beers on a party bus at 2 p.m., then doing karaoke at some bar, then at a casino at midnight. Every story had 15 guys tagged. Not one text to me until the next afternoon saying, "Sorry babe, got crazy last night." Then his friend's wedding finally came after months of planning I'd heard about exclusively through annoyed recaps of how demanding the bride was being. I got ready alone, curled my hair, put on the dress I'd bought specifically for this, drove to the venue alone, and sat at our assigned table, watching him spend the entire reception with his boys crowded around the bar. They had this whole corner claimed, with jackets thrown over chairs, like they were marking territory at a high school cafeteria. When I asked him to dance during our song, the one he'd told me months ago reminded him of me every time he heard it. He barely looked up. "Not right now. Jake's telling a story about college." I stood there for a second, waiting to see if he'd change his mind, but he'd already turned back to the group, laughing at something I couldn't hear. I sat there for 4 hours, picking at cold chicken that had gone completely lukewarm, and watching other couples slow dance past me. The bride's parents danced. The elderly couple from table 6 danced. Even the photographer took a break to dance with someone. I smiled at strangers and pretended I was fine sitting alone at a wedding while my boyfriend of 3 years stood 15 feet away acting like I didn't exist. The breaking point came at the afterparty when I found him in the bathroom, holding back his drunk friend's hair while he puked into the toilet. He was rubbing his back and saying, "Let it out, man. You're good. I got you," with this genuine tenderness I hadn't seen from him in months. He looked up at me and said, "Can you grab him some water?" Like I was staff. I'd had brutal food poisoning 2 weeks earlier and called him crying from my bathroom floor at 3 a.m., dizzy and scared because I couldn't stop throwing up and thought something was seriously wrong. He'd texted back, "Take some Pepto. I'm in the middle of guys' night. Try to sleep it off," and never called to check on me the next day. When I brought it up later, he said I was being dramatic because food poisoning isn't an emergency. I stood in that bathroom doorway watching him care more about his drunk friend who'd chosen to drink too much than he'd cared about me when I was actually sick and needed him, and something just broke inside my chest. I turned around, got my coat from the check, and drove home in complete silence. I packed my stuff that Monday while he was at work. Clothes, books, the kitchen stuff I'd bought, pictures, everything went into boxes faster than I thought possible. His text just said, "Wow, so you're really that dramatic about a wedding?" I blocked his number and never looked back.